everyone, and welcome to the Doctor Janine Show. I'm so excited to have you all here today. We have some fantastic topics that we will be covering. And as you know, this is a very interactive show. I've got some fun sort of fill in the blanks things happening today and some trick questions as well. Well, maybe not trick questions for the people who have been following me for a little while. We're talking fake vitamins. So continuing that conversation, what we started off with last week, we're also talking about leptin resistance, how that's related to osteoporosis. And this is really important information, not something that you've probably heard before. We'll also talk about intermittent fasting and some mistakes that a lot of people are making with intermittent fasting and how you can actually boost your results, especially for weight loss, for that intermittent fasting. So we're going to come back to this topic. And of course, we always have our quiz questions throughout the show. Yes, my poop platter is here as well. So for those of you who are accustomed to seeing us talking about poop, yeah, a little bit of that's going to come up in today's show as well, which is amazing. Please say hello, where you're from, and thank you, Valeria in Barcelona. Nice to see you. Good morning. Happy in Life 617. Thank you for tuning in. Amazing to have you all here. Thank you, Kai, for tuning in. And please hit that share button, please, and share with your friends so that they can all tune in today as well. And if you're a new follower, thank you so much for following. Hit that follow button, that subscribe. It's great to have you all here. Now, if you missed last week, we talked again about leptin resistance, so continuing that conversation, as well as insulin resistance. We talked about synthetic vitamins as well, some things to be aware of, things to look for. I hope everybody's checking their vitamin bottles now. Really, really important that you know what you're putting into your body. As much as you may think that your vitamins are natural, even if you get the expensive natural ones from the natural health food store, they're most times very synthetic. So that's something that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you specific things to look for on labels, okay? And we're going to do that today as well. We also talked about gut health last week, and we also talked about different types of probiotics. So thank you very much, Valeria, all the compliments coming in already. So I hope that you're taking the information in, you're making some positive changes for yourselves, and that is so important. That's why I like to educate why it's so important to do that. Okay, let's get this show. West Virginia, did I get it right? Yes, I'm getting so much better. WVA is West Virginia. Give me a thumbs up if I'm correct. Yes, awesome, awesome. Mac Ismo, thank you for the follow. Great to have you here. And someone from Nigeria, nice to have you here. Thank you for tuning in today. Kathy is here as well. Carolyn in Texas, thank you for tuning in. And Kana, yeah, did I get it right? I think I did. Yes, I did. Karina, nice to see you. Thank you. Kentucky Honey is here from Kentucky. Nice to have you here. Thank you. And Mercelise from Massachusetts. I'm sorry if I can't call you all out. I'm trying my best. Everything is scrolling here, and I'm doing my best to call you out and to say hello. Thank you for tuning in. Someone from Somalia, Abdullahi, did I say that correctly? Thank you for tuning in. It's great to have you all here. This is a very informative show. I'm Dr. Janine, naturopathic doctor. If you follow me, you know my content. I'm all about natural medicine and what we can do to really empower ourselves over our own bodies, minds, and spirits to get healthier and to do it collectively. And we have this great movement happening. So many positive people in the Dr. Janine family here. So I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about synthetic vitamins. Now, did you know that there is a fake folate, and it's called folic acid? And I want you to check what you're going to look for on your label where it says folate, folic acid. So the form that they're getting that folate from is not folate, it is folic acid, which does not exist in nature. It's a fake form. It's a synthetic form, a chemically derived form of folate. Now, folate is natural, and I'm going to go through some of the foods that are high in folate, and that's going to be really helpful for you. But it is vitamin B9, folate. That's why I'm very much against having fortified foods. So if you get almond milk or oat milk, and it says fortified cereals, fortified flours, they're putting this fake folic acid in there, which has some goods. It could be in cereals, breakfast cereals. It's in, unfortunately, baby formulas. This has negative side effects, and remember, it's fake. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for being here today. If you're here for the first time, please say hello. Put a 1 in the comments. It's great to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for, all those likes and all that love that comes throughout, and for tapping your screen and do all those fun things. So thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so what are the side effects of this fake folate, that folic acid? Stomach cramps. It can also cause diarrhea, upset stomach, And those frequent bowel movements, of course, could be something that you're experiencing. So you know that I like to talk about, having healthy, good dark sinkers as healthy poops. Well, maybe you're having some lighter colored stools. Maybe you're having something that looks like oatmeal. It's not formed in terms of your poops in the toilet, and you're wondering, okay, what's going on here? Well, it could be because of this fake folate that you're taking, that folic acid. Whether it's in a vitamin, if you don't take vitamins, maybe you do have fortified foods, or you're drinking your almond milk and it's got it in there. That could be causing some gastric upset, and a lot of people have gut health issues. You need to be aware of this, okay? So the really important nausea and upset stomach. So imagine you're giving your children, they're having their breakfast cereal and they're super hyper all day. Is it because of the fake vitamins in there? Because it's fortified? It's one of the things that I really want you to look at and pay attention on labels, especially if you eat any type of packaged food, something that's been processed in any way. Make sure that there's no folic acid. It is a fake form of folate. Now, we will be talking about leptin resistance and the strength of our healthy bones. That will be coming up, so stay tuned for that. Let's go through some natural sources now, though, of folate, which is so important to know that, yes, you can get that natural folate, really important for our nervous system, for the health of our blood cells, for our energy levels. That is in this list. Okay, so eggs, one of my favorite foods, eggs. Have that natural folate, really important. Okay, the next on the list, edamame, put it too in the comments if you love your edamame. Yes, also a natural source of folate. Another group is our veggies, so asparagus, spinach, broccoli, beets, also a good source of that folate, really important, again, for the health of our nerves and our blood cells. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much if you're here. There's so many new people here. Vicky in Sudbury, thank you for tuning in. Awesome, awesome. And please, keep putting your questions in. I will be answering questions towards the end of the show. We also have, of course, my new Q&A on Wednesdays, so that we're going to show you some information about that. That will be coming up as well. Oh, here we have it. So please tune in tomorrow. If I can't get to all your questions throughout the live show on Tuesdays, please make sure that you tune in on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's happening tomorrow. I will be able to answer your questions, so please tune in then as well, okay? Awesome. Don't forget, we have some quiz questions coming up in today's show as well, so you have an opportunity to win a prize. We're also going to mention last week's winner. Okay, let's continue our list. Here we go. What else? Avocados, bananas, and oranges. Now, you know how I feel about bananas in certain seasons. We have a video throw coming up in just a few minutes about when maybe not to have bananas, okay, and where, depending on where you live. So that's coming up, but they are a source of that folate if they naturally grow where you live, okay? Also on my list is nuts and seeds contain that folate, which again is the natural source of folate, okay? Not the folic acid, which is synthetic. And also on the list is one of my favorites, blue-green algae, chlorella, loaded with B vitamins naturally. You heard me talk about those bananas, and I have a video called No Bananas in Canada. So let's take a look at that really quickly. Take a look, and I'll be right back. Why do I say no bananas in Canada in the cold winter months? Well, if you live in a cold climate far away from the equator, eating bananas and other tropical fruits is not doing the best for your metabolism. The sunlight naturally programs our food with that sunlight energy, and when we're eating it, when our skin, our eyes, and our gut are reading their environment, and that's a low light environment in a cold winter month, it's getting mixed messages from the food that we're eating. Our mitochondrial health and for longevity. Follow for more natural health tips. And there you have it. So that's why I say no bananas in Canada. And depending on, it's not just Canada, if you live far away from the equator, hey, if bananas don't grow in your natural environment in the season that you're in, you shouldn't be eating them. And that's one of the things, a big change that I've made in my own house. I don't buy bananas. I might buy them in the summertime a little bit, but I don't buy them so much in the wintertime, actually at all. We haven't bought them this winter, because our body, that's going to cause chaos in your body and inflammation. It's not what you want and will make that leptin resistance worse. Okay, it's quiz time. Is everybody ready for this? Okay, I'm so excited. So from our great sponsors at VitaTree Nutritionals, who donates a product every week, and this is what you are playing for free. This will be sent out to you if you are our lucky winner, who is randomly selected out of all of our participants. So that is going to be coming to you, okay? So that's why please make sure you're following Team Dr. Janine as well. If you see Team Dr. Janine answering some of your questions, that's my team behind the scenes. It's not some stranger. It's actually my team. They help to answer the questions while we're here live. Okay, are we ready? Quiz question number 1. You're going to have 30 seconds on the clock once you see that question come up. Do your best, everyone. Everybody ready? Okay, here we go. Quiz question number 1. Let's see what it is. True or false? Folic acid is a natural vitamin. Okay, everybody get your answers in. Thank you for those follows coming in. I see that happening. Okay, get your answers in. You got 30 seconds. Go. Okay, good job, everyone. I see lots of answers coming in. Good job. Continue to get your answers in. Just do your best. You got a 50-50 chance, even if you don't know if it is right or wrong. Folic acid is a natural vitamin. All right, I hope you got it. I saw mostly right answers, but some incorrect answers, but that's okay. That's how we learn. That's what I always tell my children. You learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from being perfect all the time. Anybody agree with me there? Yeah, thumbs up. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the answer is our natural source. Okay, you've got a couple more opportunities to win a prize, so don't go anywhere. All right, let's announce last week's winner of the VitaTree AccuBlood Sugar Balance. It was Nadia Rubin. Congratulations, Nadia. Awesome job. Good job, good job. Congratulations, that will be sent out to you. Okay, awesome job. Okay, now let's continue now. Let's talk about a little bit about that leptin resistance. It's something that we did discuss last week. We're going to continue that conversation. And what is leptin? So just a quick little review. I know for those fat cells, it's a hormone. And what it does is it can create inflammation in our system. And what it does when it's not now being read as a proper chemical signaling in the brain is we can get a resistance to leptin. And now what happens is that it's a high leptin situation, but the brain is reading low leptin. And when that's happening, what the brain does is it says, go and get more and more food. And this is why people often have that overzealous hunger, despite the fact that you're eating all the time, and that's how you gain more and more weight. And this is why it's so concerning with that inflammation in the brain and this leptin resistance. It's increasing your food intake, and this will offset all of your hormones. It then has an effect so that leptin, to continue this conversation, because we couldn't necessarily talk about today, because this is something that we discussed last week and in my other posts, okay? So you're gonna help me to fill in the blanks today, all right? Let's see, everybody's got to be quick on this one because I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Thank you for the share, Marianne. Thank you, R7. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Everybody hit that share button a few times like Marianne did. That would be awesome. And thank you for tuning in. Hey, if you're a new follower, if you're here for the first time, welcome on in of leptin resistance. Tell me, what happens? Weight, blank, or blank right now as well. Weight, Diego, I see that. And Garden Life 1952, love it. Okay, so you can have weight gain, thyroid gland, and shutting down your thyroid when you've got that leptin resistance. So that's weight gain, but also affecting that thyroid. You can have severe weight loss because of that. What else can it cause? Blank immunity, okay? So it's the first part of this word. What is it? And it goes along with a lot of different diseases. Okay, I see. Good try, good try. It's not what I'm looking for. All those answers coming in. Yes, Asra Begum. I think that's how you, yes, awesome. That's exactly what I was looking for. So Asra had it correct. Autoimmunity. So this is where Hashimoto's, Graves' disease. So again, relating back to and that reverse T3, that actual thyroid function, that's what reverse T3 does. And that's one of the blood tests that you can actually have for, and if that is high, if reverse T3 is high, it's an indicator of leptin resistance, okay? Autoimmunity, let's go to the next one, good job. As well as all of the other autoimmune conditions related back to leaky gut syndrome as well, which is something that we talked about last week with gut health issues. Okay, this is sort of a spelling thing. What am I putting in here? And then I've got a joke happening after this. It's like a trick question. It's like the bonus question. Full word. A double M, MM. Now, trick question, bonus question. What else does MM stand for according to Dr. Janine? I want to see this. Who's first with this answer? Please put it in. What does MM stand for? Somebody tell me. Okay, we've got to get it. I'm going to give you 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, KQN68. Magnesium in the morning. Magnesium in the morning. Okay, so that is sort of an inside joke. For all the people who don't know what that means, make sure that you're tuning in and you're going to check out all of my content. Magnesium in the morning. But this is something that, again, with our ability to fill in the blanks, you're also learning at the same time. Who loves this? So isn't this great? Hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you're following as well. Thank you for double tapping your screen and all those likes coming in. Okay, do we have some more fill in the blanks? Okay, yes, we do have one more. Anybody have this answer? We are, and I said it not too long ago. Thank you for those gifts coming in. I see those gifts coming in. Yes, Nika, I see it. Looking for, so hungry. Reset, we will be talking about lymphatic drainage, so that's coming back. Let's continue that conversation that this is, really important in terms of our leptin levels and our osteoporosis. So the health of our bones and how well our bone density is doing has to do with something called osteocalcin. And what leptin does is actually blocks osteocalcin. Now, osteocalcin helps to bring and bind calcium with your vitamin K to get that calcium into the bones, to make our bones and other minerals into that bone density. So this is really important because if osteocalcin is now blocked because of leptin, we're going to have a problem with our bone density. And this is not something that, your doctor is usually talking about or educating you about. Fixing your leptin resistance to actually help your bone density as you're aging. Super, super important. So let's take a look at this really quickly. That osteocalcin is secreted by the bones, and it's a hormone. Now, it does have an effect on your pancreatic health. So it actually has an effect on your insulin levels and the beta cells in your pancreas for that proper secretion of that insulin. So balancing blood sugar, you can see how leptin now is related to that insulin resistance, and it's not something that I shared with the osteocalcin last week, but this ties into last week's episode. So please check it out if you missed last week. It is very much related to what's happening here, especially if you've got blood glucose problems, you're trying to lose that weight. Here we see the adipose tissue, so high insulin sensitivity. That osteocalcin helps to decrease that fat mass. So isn't that interesting? I need the Mr. Fat, please. And when we're talking about making sure that we are trying to burn that fat, hey, if we have that leptin resistance, this is now another mechanism with blocking that osteocalcin that you won't be able to access that fat to burn it off and turn it into energy. We will be talking about intermittent fasting and ketosis in a little bit today as well, so that is coming up. Okay, osteocalcin also we need for our muscle tissue to increase that insulin sensitivity, something that we need, of course. It helps with our neurotransmitter production in our brain. That osteocalcin also helps with increasing testosterone levels. So yeah, for both men and women, really important to keep our testosterone levels in the right balance, of course, not too high, not too low. And of course, those feedback loops of pancreas back to the bone for that osteocalcin. So isn't that interesting? So this is why leptin resistance needs to be fixed. And I've got my tips coming up, so don't worry, because I know a lot of you were looking for tips last week. We've got tips in today's show about how to, and that will help with the osteoporosis and your bone density as well. Okay, awesome. Now, I do want to say hello to all of my fans. Thank you so much. We do have a viewer spotlight, so every week we share some great positive feedback from one of our viewers, our followers. Thank you so much. This is from Linda A. And isn't this interesting? So Linda said, soon, half a year without a migraine, thanks to the Solay water. I'm so happy. So Linda A., thank you so much for sharing your review. You are a viewer spotlight. Such great positive feedback, something that I shared in a previous episode, that Solay water. And it's something that you can look up if you want to see that recipe. I don't know if we can get that. Solay water really helped Linda with her migraine headaches. A half a year without a migraine just from making that little tweak and using that Solay water in your drinking water. I'm so happy for you, Linda. It made my day when I read your comment. Amazing, amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that positive feedback, and continue, everyone who shares positive feedback comments on all of the social networks, please continue to do that, and you may be featured as our viewers spotlight. Okay, and this links back to that leptin resistance as well. So we're going to come over here. I will be talking, and remember, I'm coming back to talking about that intermittent fasting and weight loss, so that's coming up as well. but we know that leptin signals our egg selection and maturation and implantation of the actual egg into the uterine wall. So that is really important. So this is why infertility issues, again, could be linked back to that leptin resistance. We also know that number 2, leptin receptors in the uterus determine how well the embryo actually implants and stays implanted, okay? And number 3 is modern life. So what does that mean? That means blue light. That means EMFs that I talk a lot about in my posts is linked to leptin resistance, increased cortisol. So cortisol, stress hormone, more cortisol you have, more inflammation you have, more leptin resistance you have. And there's something called pregnenolone steal, and that's for a future show. If you don't know what that is, really important to, manage our cortisol levels and get that leptin signaling under control, because that high inflammation is going to run this whole process of pregnenolone steal, and this is what's going to downregulate your actual androgenic and your estrogen and progesterone hormone. And that, of course, is difficult to get pregnant if you're running that cycle of cortisol all the time. And that's what the pregnenolone steal is all about. But that's for another day, okay, because it's a little bit technical, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's talk about now the good news. The good news, there are ways to fix that leptin resistance. So whether it's for your fertility, whether it's for the fat loss, whether it's to fix your blood glucose levels, you're pre-diabetic, or it's for those strong bones and the osteoporosis, let's talk about how to fix this. We will be going into the beauty set and doing some lymph drainage for the sinuses, which is so important. So we're going to be coming back to that. Please say hello. Let me just say hello really quickly. Nadia, so great. Yes, yay, 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 yay. Congratulations, you were our winner. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're tuned in today to see that you were our winner. Amazing, amazing. Nadi from South Sudan, great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. I love this show because it's an opportunity to connect with people from all over the world, which is amazing. Thank you, thank you. Denise has a question about the water, the Solay water. We will talk about that. Hopefully we'll be able to bring up that recipe towards the end of the show, okay? So that's great. Thank you. And Freynama from London, great to have you here as well. Sharon from Michigan, and Steph Obai 118 in Cleveland, Ohio. Nice to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nimco in Somalia, great to have you here. Thank you so much. And Sunshine is asking about fertility again, so we'll bring that at the end of the show, okay? I promise that we'll come back to that. My team is on that. Okay, awesome. And Donald from India, nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in today. And thanks for all the new follows. So I see a bunch of people are following. Thank you for following. Please hit that share button. And if you are new here, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. So great to have you all here. And thank you for double tapping your screen and hitting all those likes and all those gifts and all those things that come through the show. I can't call them all out, but thank you so much. It's great to have you here. Okay, let's now talk about our tips. 6 tips to fix that leptin resistance. Okay, what is number 1? You've heard me say this before in a lot of my content. Wake up with the sun and see the sun. What does that mean? That means if you wear glasses, contacts, you don't have them on, okay? You've got to be in natural exposure no glass between you and the sun. So one of the things that I do on my way to work is I roll down my window to make sure that I'm getting that natural sunlight, even if you can't see the sun, if it's snowing, if it's raining, if it's cloudy. You see the sun in the sky. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as that natural light is coming into your eyes, on your skin in the morning. First thing around that sunset is the most important, but throughout the day as well, okay? So wake with the sun and see the sun. It really helps with your brain, your circadian rhythms, and your leptin signaling. Okay, number of people are making, so we're gonna come back to this, okay? Number 3, your light environment mimics sunlight. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, our circadian rhythms, and we have little photoreceptors, all of these little light sensing cells in our skin, in our eyes, that even our gut cells are sensitive to light, our brain cells sensitive to light. So our body is always reading our environment. So when it's light and the sun should be out during the day, then it's okay to have some light. Now, what happens when the sun sets? It shouldn't really be that bright in our homes, and this is a big change that you can make for yourself. If anything, if you need to have lights on, make sure they're low to the ground, very dim, And if you have the opportunity to have some red lights in your home, that's something that you can do, makes a huge difference. So that is amazing. You can use red LEDs. I mean, even as you know, minimal as just getting some red LED lights in your home, have them on low, having a fire on for light, candles, if you want to go to that extreme, you could do as well. But yeah, really the osteoporosis, you're trying to lose weight, you've got to really manage your light environment. It should mimic the sun, okay? And some people go to extremes to get their lighting in there. By all means, open the windows. I mean, if you have the opportunity, depending on where you live, to just be outside all day, that is the ultimate. That is how we were meant as humans, as mammals, to have that proper circadian timing with our environment. Okay, let's continue. Number 4, no food after sunset. We're not meant to be eating after the sun has set. It will mess up your leptin, your melatonin, your thyroid hormones. Everything gets messed up if you're eating, snacking after dinner. So try not to do that. You don't want to, and drinking too. So drinking anything, your leptin receptors, it's amazing. So getting cold, amazing. How many people are doing their cold showers? Put some cold emojis in the comments, please. Yes, yes, yes. Amazing, amazing. And I know, thank you for all those follows that are coming through. Is amazing. Thank you. Yes, and I will be answering questions. Don't forget, I know a bunch of questions are coming in. Tomorrow's the Q&A, so what I can't answer today, I will be answering tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Q&A section. Okay, awesome. Yes, I see a bunch of cold emojis. Yes, loving your cold exposure. Amazing, amazing. I've got tips and videos on how to do cold exposures, so make sure you check those out. And number 6, to fix your leptin resistance, prioritize sleep. Sleep is so important. It's something that you absolutely have to make sure that you are managing your sleep. Okay, great sponsors, Vitatree Nutritionals, whole food vitamins that supports and of course takes care of us here at the Doctor Janine Show, helps to support the channel. Thank you so much for being our sponsor. This is what you're playing for, the B12. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Name of food that is a good source of folate. Now just take a guess. If you're just tuning in now, it's okay. Just take a guess. But name a food that is a good source of folate. You got 30 seconds on the clock. Get your answers in, starting now. Coming in, I see that happening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome answers coming in. You've got about 15 seconds on the clock. All right, we're winding down. We've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I hope everybody got your answers in. I saw a lot of good answers there. A lot of my favorites came up, absolutely. Okay, so what is on the list? Foods that are a good source of folate: eggs, lentils, black beans, edamame, Brussels sprouts. Did anybody put Brussels sprouts? Yes. Carmi put broccoli, which is there, of course, asparagus, spinach, beets, avocados, bananas, oranges, nuts, and seeds. I saw a lot of people put nuts and seeds. A lot of people put eggs. Eggs was like the most popular answer that I saw come up. So good job, everyone. Congratulations. We still have one more quiz question coming up. So if you're just tuning in, you still have the opportunity to win a prize. Thank you for the follow. And for all the new people that are here, thank you for sharing as well. So hit that share button if you haven't yet done that. Hit it, hey, 5, 10, 15 times. Let your friends in on the fun. We do have one more quiz question coming up. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about intermittent fasting. And a lot of people are doing it incorrectly. And I have some videos on this, but what fasting does, and one of the mechanisms how fasting works for us, is that it stimulates something called autophagy. And autophagy is like our body's cleanup mechanism. It helps to break down old and damaged unnecessary cells and dysfunctional components within a cell, and then can repurpose those components and sort of build back healthier cells, or it just gets rid of them. And here, if we look at mitochondrial autophagy, which is called mitophagy, what happens is that a membrane forms around that mitochondria, then a lysosome comes in, and this is now sort of broken down by that lysosome, and then we get a degradation and recycling of that cellular component. This is absolutely necessary, and why autophagy is so good for us is that we don't want a bunch of old remnant cells that aren't doing anything for us in our body, because this becomes like a toxicity that builds up, and this is where we get tired all the time. We don't have that energy efficiency, and we know that a mitochondria, of course, is our energy producing organelle in the cell. We don't want to have a bunch of, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of mitochondria. We want to make sure that the ones that we've got are working on our behalf to create that ATP. So this is just one of the mechanisms that autophagy is really important, and this is where intermittent fasting, and a lot of people are doing it wrong because you're not doing it long enough. So what the research shows is that you need to be doing it for at least 17 hours. Now, autophagy also helps to, and I'm going to talk about how the meals are wrong as well. So which meal you choose to make sure that you're fasting through makes a big difference with the intermittent fasting. So a lot of people are fasting their breakfast, as you can see here, which is not right. This is wrong. You don't want to be doing that. You want to make sure that you are fasting through another part of the day. And one of the benefits, and we'll talk about that, one of the benefits of the autophagy is that it also helps to clean up some disease-causing pathogenic cells, so like bacteria and viruses. So that is also super important, again, that autophagy, that fasting for our immune system and our immune function. So if you're getting sick all the time, this could be one of the things that you can start to implement, is doing some fasting once in a while. I'm not saying to do it all the time, but do some fasting or some intermittent fasting, skip a meal or two, and I'm going to tell you which one it is, but yeah, let's talk about that right now. So ideally, you hear me talk about having that good, healthy breakfast to start your day. So I still want you to do that if you want to do the intermittent fasting, having a good, healthy breakfast as we see here, but then you may want to skip your lunch, but you need not. If you're just getting into intermittent fasting, you still want to get into that autophagy. You can still have a lunch, but ideally if you want to do this like hardcore autophagy, you're going to skip your lunch and your dinner, and then you have your breakfast again the next day. Okay, how many people love intermittent fasting? Put IF in the comments if you love your intermittent fasting. Now, what the research shows that you need to be fasting, a lot of people are doing the 16-8. That's not quite enough for the autophagy. The research shows that you need to be fasting 17 hours to get into that good state of autophagy. Of course, everybody is different, and exercise is going to stimulate autophagy. Meditation can stimulate autophagy. So there's all these different mechanisms that we have to get into that state, but try the 18-6. So eating within a 6-hour window, and this is perfect. So this is, I mean, oftentimes I don't always do intermittent fasting, but when I do, I have my breakfast and my lunch, and then I'm fasting until the next breakfast. So I achieve that 17 hours. I'm usually an 18-6, so 6 hours of your eating window and 18 hours of fasting. Does that make sense, everyone? And one of the things that I do dirty fasting. But we'll talk about that next week because, yeah, I have my ways of getting through those fasting hours, dirty fasting. We'll talk about that next week, okay? I don't want to give it all away today. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you do tune in next week. We have this show. If you're tuning in for the first time today, this show happens live, and we are live right here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope that you'll all join me. Okay, a lot of people, Petula, Mary, Dwayne, Dean, Kentucky Honey, Clara, everybody's doing intermittent fasting. Who is mentioning an Angel, Guilt. Good job. Okay, I love it, love it, love it. And okay, so Carmi, why are we not fasting in the morning? Because you need that big breakfast. Why do you need the big breakfast? For the leptin signaling and for your circadian rhythms. Having that big breakfast sets the tone for your bowel movements, for your proper hormone signaling, the fact that you've got food, so that sending the right messages to the brain that there is food available, you've got some fuel for the day, so that you don't go into some of these other modes of panic and stress and high cortisol levels, which is going to cause more inflammation and more leptin resistance. So that's why, great question, Carmi, thank you. I love that question, amazing, amazing. And I was able to, hopefully that you understand why it's so important to have that good, healthy breakfast. Okay, let's go over here really quickly. I do want to call out, thank you so much to all of my super fans. So throughout the live shows, throughout the week, when we don't see each other, when you're looking at my content, you are the best. The followers, the subscribers that I have, you're super generous. And I see those donations. Thank you so much for supporting my channel and everything that we do here at the Dr. Janine Show. I truly appreciate all of you. You guys are the best. Great family that we're building here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you and all of my super fans. Okay, awesome, awesome. Keep up the good work, everyone. And okay, I will be able to answer some of your questions in just a few seconds. So bear with me. Let's go over into the beauty set really quickly. And I want to talk a little bit about sinus and lymphatic drainage. So this time of year, depending on where you live, it can be really challenging. Excuse me, and the sinuses can be filling up. If you come down with a cold or a flu virus, whatever it is, that you could be getting sinus headaches, and you've got, some real, inflammation happening in the face area. And we can see that there are different sinuses. So we have our maxillary sinus, which is the one right here. Everybody press on your cheeks right here, because we're going to be doing some lymphatic drainage. So just see, do you have any tenderness right here? And if it's a yes, then this is going to be fantastic what we're going to do to help to drain this. Okay, then we also have the ethmoid sinuses, so right beside the nose, and that can, of course, when you're stuffy and you've got stuffed up nose, that can be very painful to the touch, but can really block things up. And then, of course, we've got the frontal sinus, which is just above your eyebrows right here. Everybody press on your frontal sinuses. If you go to see your doctor when you're sick with a cold or a flu, they usually use their thumbs and they're pressing. Does that hurt? Does that hurt? Does that hurt? Well, that's what they're checking. If there is some, of course, inflammation and some blockage in those areas. So those are the sinuses. Now we do have lymphatic drainage in the face. So we do have a big chain here in the face that goes from the nose through the cheek to your jawbone, of course, in front of the ear, behind the ear, and all of that lymph that is draining down the neck. So let's do some lymphatic drainage together, especially if you're stuffed up right now. But hey, this is a beauty thing that I do as well, which is amazing to help to drain all of that lymph in the face. Okay, so you've seen parts of this before, but some of it is new. Okay, so we're gonna go, everybody find your collarbone, and you're just gonna use your fingers above and below the collarbone. Hey, if you're just tuning in, welcome in. I'm Dr. Janine, naturopathic doctor. We're talking lymphatic drainage for those blocked sinuses. This is great for your beauty routine as well. So just very gently above and below your collarbone, because there's lymph chains there as well. You want to activate that. Then you're going to go down the neck. And if we go back to the lymph really quickly, I want to show you. So 1/3 of all the lymph in our body is from the neck up. So you can imagine the importance, in terms of our lymphatic system for our head and neck, really important. Look at all that lymph that's here. One of the big groups of lymphatics is that SCM muscle. So this muscle that sort of looks like a V. And this is something that we are draining now, because remember those internal sinuses here, we're wanting to drain all of that lymphatic. So we're going across the clavicles like this. You're doing that first, then down your neck. I'm just using Lucy here really quickly, down the neck, behind the ear. Does she have an ear on that side? Oh yeah, she does. Okay, there we go. So behind the ear, you're going as well down to drain that lymph. Now we're going to get into the sinuses. Okay, so the first point, this is actually an acupuncture point, and it could be painful, especially if you're blocked up and stuffy right now. You're just going to do little circles in this area. So right beside the nose, little circles, little circles, little circles. Maybe I'll turn this around so I can, oopsie. There we go, almost had a disaster. There we go. And little circles, okay? Now the next spot that you're going to do is here. So remember those sinuses? Can we see the sinuses again really quickly? I just want to show so you can see that anatomy. So when we look at the ethmoid sinuses right beside the nose, you're going to get right in there, and you're just pressing down, pressing down, pressing down. And I like to do it sort of like this, press and sort of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And you can go this direction as well towards the nose, just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And if it is quite painful, just work through the pain, because I promise you, if you have a blocked nose right now, by the end of this, you're going to be blowing your nose, okay? So remember, we're starting here, little circles. There's an acupuncture point here as well. Help to relieve all of that congestion. Now wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now the last one, we're going to go up here. So remember, our frontal sinus, which is a little cavity that fills, and as you can see here, it's very blocked up. It's obstructed here, and that's why you can get like those sinus type of headaches up here. So you're going to go above your eyebrows, and you're going to press in, and you're going to press, and you're going to press, and you're going to, I like to do little circles, press, 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 especially if you're stuffy. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in right now. I'm Dr. Janine. We are draining our sinuses. For anybody who's got a stuffy nose right now, this is amazing. I did this for my son yesterday. Amazing. He was amazed. I was draining my nose. He was draining his nose. Everything was like, yes, this is so good. This is so good. Awesome, awesome. Okay, everybody's got that. Okay, well, one quick little review. We'll start down here. Then we'll go here, in and out, little circles. Then above, in that upper sinus, circles. Press hard, press hard. You can do it. The harder you press, the more relief you're going to have. And now you're going to do a little massage just to drain it out as such. So above and down. So you're draining, 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 draining. How many people need to blow their nose right now? Yes, give me a thumbs up in the comments. This is amazing for you. And then what you can also do is follow it up with going down the neck again. And you may find whenever I do lymphatic drainage, it's almost immediate for me. You feel like you have to swallow because stuff is actually draining. How many people are feeling that? Yes, BG, you've got some drainage happening. Love it, love it, love it. I can come back to this. And also, if there's anything in today's show that you want me to come back to, make sure that you are putting it in the comments and we'll come back to that. I get a lot of thumbs up are coming in. Garden Life, Motorino, I think, M. Torino. Yes, awesome, awesome. Is it BG? JJ? Solus, did I say that right? I'm not even sure, but awesome. Bulk J, yes, we've got some 3 coming up. Everybody ready? Okay, you have the ability to win a prize from our great sponsors at VitaTree. We thank them for making the Doctor Janine Show possible. You're paying for the VitaTree B12. Are we ready? Last quiz question for today. Here we go. What is? Answer amazing. If not, just try to do your best. You got 30 seconds on the clock. Everybody get your answers in, and let's go. What is that process that the cells are going through to clean up those old cells? Oh, I see a lot of good answers. I'm very impressed with this crowd today, as I often am. I mean, most times when am I not impressed with all of these followers that I've got? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good job, everyone. 1 second. Yes, everybody got your answers in. Good job. Thank you for the follows. Please make sure that you're subscribed, that you're following. Thank you for all the love coming in. I see all those hearts that have been coming in throughout the show. You've been double tapping the screen and doing whatever, you're hitting that like button. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody got your answers in? I'll give you a few extra seconds there. Yes, the answer is, of course, autophagy. And that's where doing fasting in the right way, and remember we learned today that at least 17 hours you're aiming for, that's what the research shows, to get into that autophagy more effectively. Of course, everybody's different, but that is what we talked about. So if you're just tuning in today, we talked a little bit about fertility issues as that's related to your leptin resistance and leptin signaling. We also talked about the health of our bones and osteoporosis, also correlated to leptin resistance. We also talked about that intermittent fasting. We also talked about that fake vitamin. So a lot of misconceptions about healthy, natural, so-called natural thyroid as well, how that can be related to your leptin signaling. And that's even related to that osteocalcin, which we didn't get into. But thank you so much for everybody who is tuning in today. You guys are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I know that some questions did come in, so if anybody wants to highlight those again for me, that would be great. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow. So we have a new Q&A that happens on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, if you want to screenshot that really quickly, put it in your calendar. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Ask me your questions. I can't always get to all the questions on a Tuesday during a live show because it's a lot of information, of course, that we're talking about, but please make sure that you tune in. Okay, really quickly, and let's show you that Solay water. So this was from, and some great news from one of our viewers who did really well for migraines with the Solay water. So if you're wondering what that is, it's basically a sea salt solution and water, and you make a high concentration of that sea salt into your water. Then you're going to use just a half a teaspoon every time you're drinking your water. So you're adding a half a teaspoon of your Solay water into your drinking water. And can we bring up that testimonial again really quickly? That review from Linda. Migraine says, oh, that was a pleasant migraine. No, never. I mean, that is a severe headache. And you've gone half a year now with without having those migraines, just from implementing one of the things that I've shared. So I'm so, so happy. Thank you, Linda. And imagine if that can help Linda, the tips that I share could help you as well. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I share the information for all of you, to really give you up to date and, natural health information and empower you over your own healing of your mind, body, and spirit. And I know a lot of you share my content with your friends, with your family. It's really funny now, because when I go out, I'm at the gym or I go to the grocery store, a lot of people recognize me from social media and like, oh my goodness, I love your video on this and this, and this really helped me. And oh my goodness, my headache's gone. And like so much positive feedback. So it is, it really is amazing to be part of, this big family of, like-minded people that are trying to do better and feel better, of course, and doing it naturally. So I thank all of you. And okay, so another question for the fertility list is, yes, we're going to show you that as well. So the fertility, how that's related back to the leptin resistance. So if you are able to take a picture of this with another device or screenshot it, I know it's tricky on some apps that you can't affect that fertility. It controls your egg selection, maturation, implantation. So getting pregnant and having, that implant in the uterus, and the leptin receptors in the uterus are going to determine how well the embryo actually implants. So that's important. And of course, modern life. And what do I mean by modern life? I mean EMFs. And this is a big thing. So electromagnetic pollution, your cell phone, your laptop, all of these things, your Wi-Fi, you've got to really, I'm not saying that we can turn off all technology, but limiting your EMF exposure, really important. Getting grounded every morning, super important to fix that leptin resistance as well. And of course, that increased cortisol and inflammation, that pregnenolone steal is something that I hope to be able to share a little bit more information. I do have some videos, they're a little bit older now, but you can definitely check them out on that pregnenolone steal, how that's related back to the inflammation, cortisol levels, and your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Okay. Everybody got that? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, Sunshine, we got it now? Okay, perfect. I'm glad. And Susan wants to see the Solay water one more time. How much salt? Okay, can we go back to Solay water just one more time? White Hill one, is it bad to hold vicinity? And I know you can't always, fly across the world to talk to people face to face, but yeah, I think we've lost a bit of that in our society, right? And live social connection and being in somebody else's energy. Okay, here we go. 2 teaspoons of sea salt and 1 liter of water. Then you're going to mix that until it dissolves. And you may even have some, so maybe if you're at saturation, I don't know if you can see mine, my Solay water, it sort of is totally saturated because there's still that I'm getting all of those minerals and a good mixture of it as I shake it up a little bit before I take my teaspoon. Some people like to use a little dropper full as well, like a little glass dropper, an eyedropper, you could do that as well. And about roughly a half a teaspoon. You shouldn't really be able to taste that saltiness that you're adding to your water. So I drink, usually a larger glass of water, or if I put it into my water bottle. So I'm going to add, if I put too much, I can taste the salt. I know I put too much, but it's not the worst thing. If anything, if you're constipated, it can help to flush you out a little bit if you're using a little bit higher concentration. And some people actually recommend doing that at a higher concentration a few times a month. But not maybe always indicated. Okay, so everybody's got that now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Shubham from India, nice to have you here. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you. I know everybody's, yes? Oh, there's still a confusion between folate and folic acid. Okay, folic acid is synthetic. It's a synthetic form of folate. Okay, so when you see folate, this is actually sort of, in my opinion, this is on your vitamin labels. When it says folate, it's folic acid. It's not folate, it's folic acid, which is a synthetic chemical. So that's, in my opinion, that's a mislabel, even though most vitamin companies are going to put folate and then in brackets folic acid. Folic acid is synthetic. Folate exists in nature. It's vitamin B9, and we can get it from, all of the food sources that we talked about, like eggs, spinach, asparagus. Chlorella is a great source of that folate as well. So that's the difference. Folic acid, not natural. Folic acid can cause a lot of symptoms. It can make you feel sick to your stomach. It can cause hyperactivity. So imagine you're giving your child, like I said earlier, if you're just tuning in, you're giving a child a breakfast cereal or a fortified almond milk. You're trying to be healthy. So you get like a nice cereal, whatever, oatmeal, it's been fortified with folic acid. So you got to really check your labels. Anything that's packaged that hasn't come out of the earth that you haven't made yourself, you check for that folic acid. It could be causing some issues with their nervous system because it's synthetically made. It's not natural folate. So that's why I educate. That's why I do what I do, because a lot of people just simply don't realize these things, okay? So amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Of course, anything you're always checking with your doctor. Some doctors and practitioners are aware of fasting and some are not so much. So whose opinion you seek is definitely part one, which is important. But yes, absolutely, it's one of the best things probably that you could do. But remember, it's how you fast, and you may want to ease into it at the beginning. And of course, you know, starting with not skipping the breakfast, which is what most people do, and it's wrong. People actually start gaining weight and getting under more stress, and you start to get sore knees and sore hips when you start intermittent fasting, because you're increasing your inflammatory response, you're offsetting your leptin signaling, okay? So you don't want to do that. You want to eat your big breakfast, healthy breakfast, and then maybe have a lunch still, and then fast your dinner. Fast your dinner so that you're in that fasted state. It will help with your sleep. It will help with so many different things. Okay, so I hope that helps. We can continue this conversation, hey. And what I also had planned on speaking about next week, maybe we can pull that up really quickly, because we will be back next week. So please tune in next week on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Doctor Janine Show. Remember, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Q&A, which happens live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So please tune in tomorrow as well. But next week, I promise I'm going to share a little bit more about intermittent fasting. We can go through this again, but I will talk about dirty fasting. Yes, that's what I like to do, dirty fasting, as well as immunity and how that's related to your leptin resistance. We're also going to talk fake olive oil. Yeah, now this is a scary one because most people consume olive oil, fake olive oil. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And I also want you to check out, so I do have a long form video that is dropping later today, tips to maximize sauna benefits. So that's dropping later today. Make sure that you check it out, like, comment, and do all those fun things on that video, which is going to drop probably in a few hours from now. Okay, all about sauna at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be dropping at that time. How to maximize your benefits in the sauna, so that heat exposure, heat shock proteins. We'll talk about that in that video. Make sure you check it out. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the love today, guys. Thank you, and guys and girls and everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Janine. Make sure you tune in next week as well. Always endeavoring to educate you about the healing of your own body, mind, and spirit. It was such a great show today. I appreciate you all. Have a great week. Make sure you're checking out my content in the meantime, and keep all that love coming in, all those great comments. We'll see you then.